By the end of this video, I will have won Marble Madness for the very first time in my life. One of several hard-as-nails games I defeated on this channel, like Ghostbusters 2 and Silpede, to name but a few. I feel it necessary to occasionally, once in a while, show off my skills in various areas of gaming, just to show you all that just because I review a game like Pool of Radiance, which is one of the greatest games of all time, it's not because I have, I can't do a platformer or I can't do an arcade game or something. Absolutely not. Marble Madness here is a game very few will ever conquer legitimately without cheating, using trainers or something in their lifetime. I can appreciate a game like this. If I can appreciate it and I can win it, I can go that extra step beyond what other people do. Everybody loves this game, and I can actually win it, unlike a lot of people. I do believe if I can appreciate and love a game like this, you guys out there can appreciate and love a game like Pool of Radiance, or you can appreciate somebody making music on the Amiga. My last two videos, which I put in an extraordinarily large amount of time in. So be it known that anything anybody else can do on these machines, I can do, and I can probably do it a little better. So please, by all means, appreciate and actually watch and comment and like. 4 likes, 2 dislikes on Pool of Radiance, one of the greatest games of all time. By the way, subscriber in Denmark who disliked Pool of Radiance, go fuck yourself. Unsubscribe from this channel. I don't want you here. Let's get some reviews out of the way, shall we? Let's start with a modern review, apparently, from August of 2014. Presented in very much a magazine style. I have no idea, the history of this publication, if it even is a publication. But this guy here, he's got some issues with the game. He says, well, if you are looking for a visual feast with amazing effects that push your Amiga to the breaking point, you might as well look away now. Really, reviewer. This is one of the top-of-the-line, graphically speaking, games released for 1986. Have you no freaking mind for history? I don't think so. This game is nearly arcade perfect in terms of the presentation and the graphics. Nearly arcade perfect. You cannot make a review and claim that kind of bullshit when the game is nearly arcade perfect. These people frustrate me to no end. And what about a fantastic title screen and music, I hear you ask? A plain gray silent screen with balls bouncing around is all you get, I'm afraid. Well, it's, I'm afraid, sir, that that's exactly what the arcade showed you. And this is an arcade game. Know your history, you fool. Now, he does say that it doesn't sound like a recipe for a good time, but that oddly it just seems to all work, and Marble Madness is surprisingly a lot of fun. Where did you learn how to review a game, huh? When every other thing you say is just it's completely bashing the game, yet somehow it oddly seems to work. It doesn't seem to work then. Everything else you've said prior to this makes it seem like you hate the game, and yet you still say it oddly seems to work. And like most poor reviewers, he's going to tell you exactly how he feels about the game with percentages and such. 65% in terms of the graphics. Again, you have to consider the time period of 1986, the arcade game originally 1984. Top-of-the-line graphics for both the arcade and the Amiga at the time. Arcade perfect port. Incorrect. 65%. Go fuck yourself. Sound 58%. No, it's got plenty of sounds, plenty of good sounds, and it has music playing throughout the entire game, other than the title screen, dumbass. This was an unheard of thing at the time, to have music playing throughout the entire game. Again, poor reviewer, poor modern reviewer, has no sense of historical relevance whatsoever.
Whoa.
Now, despite his words suggesting to me that he would give this game a 50% or lower, he somehow gives it a 75%, and he finishes off by mentioning the choppy frame rate. Well, does this at all look choppy to you people looking right now? I don't think it does, and that's because it is in NTSC mode, which it was designed for in America. NTSC mode, 60 frames per second, unlike PAL mode, 50 frames per second. How about you play it the way it was designed? Check it out, guys. Look at any videos of the actual arcade game playing. Look at the arcade game itself. You will find that the music in NTSC mode matches perfectly with the music in the arcade, as well as the aspect ratio matches perfectly with the arcade version. We have to start playing these games, these American games, in NTSC mode like they were designed. I beg you all to consider this instead of giving these games terrible reviews because of their choppiness or something. When it runs utterly smooth in NTSC mode, you have to at least try it. You have to at least look at it before you write down that crap. Well, how about we look at a contemporary review from the American magazine Amiga World from 1986. When a micro edition of a flashy, popular video parlor arcade game is released, you expect an abridged, pale, whittled-down version of the original, something like your first game of Wiffle Ball. Electronic Arts' Marble Madness, licensed from Atari and popularized on Atari arcade machines, will forever broaden your expectations. It did mine. The power of the Amiga, plus the programming expertise of Will Harvey and Larry Reed, who did the Amiga version, have made Marble Madness a first-rate micro arcade game. The sounds in the game are funny and clever. The stereo music is excellent accompaniment. The colorful 3D graphics are so good, they must be seen to be appreciated. Now, it's not a love fest. They mention shortcomings, like the levels taking too long to load, and having to go back to the beginning when the game is over, as well as having no pause button. But here is their final remarks. Marble Madness is a tremendous micro-arcade game, and surely one of the best, if not the best, arcade games for any microcomputer. It is rivaled at this time in the category of Amiga games only by few others, such as Commodore's Mindwalker. If you only buy a handful of games for your Amiga, Marble Madness should be one of them. Now that was a review. Suck it, 2014 reviewer. Now, in a moment, we're going to go live so you can see me struggle with the controls a little bit, but be sure to come back for my winning run in a little bit. So thus far, when we've been playing, and the footage you're going to see when I actually ultimately beat the game, has been controlled by a laser mouse here. I really like the way the laser mouse controls, like you have ultimate analog, pretty much control over this whole fucking thing. It's incredible how it works. as I screw up while I'm showing you. You see, it's very nice. It's very easy. I enjoy it, but well, we didn't have this back in the day. Like, the mouse we had back in the day was this fucking enormous, bulking, called the tank mouse. This thing, I don't think this thing can hack it. We're going to try it. But we actually normally used a joystick when we played Marble Madness. And, well, let's show you the joystick first before we show you the tank mouse. So here we have the joystick playing. It's okay, but you have to understand the way it works. It doesn't actually work with all 8 directions. Like, if it only works with 4 directions, actually. So up, down always goes to the bottom left. Up always goes to the bottom right. Left always goes to the top left, and you have to understand, right, bottom right. Like, this mechanism will screw you up at a critical point. Like, you're never going to fully memorize how the joystick controls operate, and it's in one sense maybe it can help you because it's always predictable, and your hands aren't going to screw anything up. But in another sense, it's extraordinarily hard because, like, some critical point when you're doing all this stuff, you're probably gonna forget how it works, and you're gonna mess it all up. By no means could I call the joystick controls bad. But they don't do what you're thinking that they're gonna do. Like if you want to go a certain way, like I tried to press the direction pad to the bottom left, to go diagonal, but it fucked me up in that situation. Like at a critical point, you're really gonna forget how all this works, and you're gonna mess everything up. That's the joystick controls for you. They're not bad by any means, but you're probably gonna forget how they work, and it's gonna suck. Every time. Like this area, this section, no problem with the mouse. With the joystick, like I fuck it up. It's like I don't think I ever used this section as a kid because I always messed it up because the joystick does not behave like your mind thinks it will. This section might be easier with a joystick though. Let's try it. Yes, this section is actually easier with a joystick because it doesn't move at all. You don't have any of that random movement that your hand would have when you're going down that section. So the joystick's actually better for certain situations. But if you want to beat this game, I think you probably need a laser mouse. But this good old Wicco joystick is what we used back in the day. I love this joystick. To this day, Competition Pro, you know what? This gives it a run for its money. It doesn't have 2 buttons, but how many fucking games actually support 2 buttons, So I think this section 2 is actually better with the joystick. Maybe. No, it's not. I always hated this section so much. God damn it! It's just the you never fully get used to the joystick. No, I used it all the time as a kid, but it's just at critical moments you're gonna forget how it works. And I want it to go down now. I can't get it to yeah. It's all me. It's all my fault, but I cannot. This is another section. As a kid, I never used to go this section. It always fucked me up, but I used to go down. Let's go down for a change. Why not? I can't. Oh, this fucking joystick stuff. Yeah, whatever. Almost got there at the buzzer. Oh well. So we went and replaced the laser mouse with the original tank mouse here. Let's see how that does. So far, on the menu screen, it seems to control quite nice, actually. Maybe my memories have gotten the best of me. I don't know. I remember this thing sucking so terribly. Here it is. Well, yes and no. Like, yes and no. Oh, what a weird place to put me there. Alright, go this way. Yeah, I get it. I get it. Okay, so you have it controls okay with the regular mouse, but you don't have that push, that drive. Like you wanna ram it up in speed and get it over these humps. It seems to be very hard to do that, and at critical points in your movement, the ball or whatever, it just stops. It just stops like working for a quarter of a second there. I think that's how this thing is gonna treat me. It's like, for the most part, it's actually quite nice, but it doesn't seem to go as fast. I'm pressing the button to make it go fast. It's not going as fast as I'd like it to go, and I gotta make a lot more smaller movements. I can't just do like fast movements as like I could with a laser mouse. I I guess I have nothing bad to say against this on this particular game. But it's definitely slower. It's a lot slower using the original tank mouse. Yeah, I had to put a lot more effort into that area too with the tank mouse. But I guess it's not as bad as I remembered it to be. But this is not actually my original tank mouse. Actually, this is a newer tank mouse I got for some reason. It's actually a lot cleaner, I guess. And these things would get dirty. I cleaned this one too before I showed it off. These things had a bad habit of getting dirty. I do have my original tank mouse, so maybe we should hook up the original tank mouse just to see if that behaves any differently. I just hooked up the original tank mouse I used, and this one too is clean inside. Okay. Maybe I understand why I hated this thing now. Yeah, I think I understand why I hated this mouse. It just doesn't work right. This particular mouse just no longer correctly works, I think is what we're seeing. Oh yeah, it doesn't work at all. Like it works, but it don't work. Wow, I didn't know. I didn't know that's why I hated it all these years. Mouse. Yeah, look at that. Yeah, it's true, like it works, but look at all the effort I have to spend. This is something else. Like, this is how I always remembered it operating too. Like, it worked, but it was just this weird. Like, you'd have to, if you wanted to go, you'd have to really give it a workout. I'm doing a special video on the original tank mouses, so I'll get more into that later. But yeah, it does work, and it's clean. I cleaned it. It's nice and clean. It always has been, but it definitely behaved a lot differently than the other mouse. So I don't know if they went through some kind of revisions with it, or if this mouse just somehow got messed up somehow. But this is how I always remembered it working, though. It's just, in order to get it to the right, you'd really have to give it a go. It seems to go to the left okay, but to get it to go to the right, yeah, you have to put in some effort with the thing. So, well, with my particular original mouse, I would never play Marble Madness with it. With this newer style tank mouse, yeah, it works. It doesn't go as fast as you'd like it to go. But it has more precision than the joystick, but it's not as fast though as the joystick would be. I definitely recommend a laser for this, but the joystick is doable, and I guess the tank mouse is even doable too if you have one that actually works well. Right, let's get on to my final winning run, shall we? One thing I wanted to talk about with Marble Madness is that it's an NTSC game, but it's actually presented in a 3:4 aspect ratio. In NTSC, it's a 4:3 aspect ratio, but to emulate the arcade, it's actually in 3:4, which is like taking a monitor and turning it to the side, so it's more vertical than it is horizontal. But the only thing I have to complain about it is for Marble Madness, for whatever reason, they chose to put it all to the left side instead of centering it. It should be centered. It looks very strange with this huge black gap to the right. I wish they would have centered it, the 3:4, within the 4:3. This makes it, arcade perfect in presentation, by the way, and it's supposed to be. It's an NTSC game, Electronic Arts. Meant to be, it's 4:3, but it's meant to show the 3:4 aspect ratio, which it does, but I wish it would be centered.
But it is centered for you, good viewers. It is time for the final winning run, the first time I have ever beaten this game legitimately. I think I might have beaten it one other time, maybe 5 years ago, on the Commodore 64 via the cheating trainer bullshit. But this is all 100% legit this time. And I would like to criticize the game a little bit. It's difficult to show off because I've memorized it, at this point, and you know, I've been playing it. I've been playing it literally since I was like 2 years old. I've been playing it that long. It's hard to show just how frustrating of a game this can be while you are learning. It is so difficult, and I bet you $1,000 that the guy who reviewed it in 2014, I bet you $1,000 he didn't truly defeat it like he claimed he defeated it or something. He claimed it's a little short or something. I bet you he never actually, he used the trainers, I guarantee it. Once you defeat this game, it's literally like 5 minutes long, the complete run through. But to get to that point, it is just it's so much of a time suck. I spent 2 or 3 weeks, you know, on and off this last time, you know, trying to get to the point where I could win it again. And I got to certain points fairly easily because of the sheer memorization of a lifetime of, you know, skills there. But the last few levels, it really took me some time again to master them. And I almost gave up on it too. And rather than, you know, consult some bullshit, you know, video walkthrough or something, a long play where they're probably cheating anyway, I was about to just say, hey, I can't win this one. It's tough as nails. I could get to the last level or something, but I can't win it for you guys. Sorry, but I somehow persevered, and I got this one under my belt. I've been wanting to win this one legit for the longest time, and I finally did it, and it was hard, and in the end, I didn't think it was going to be rewarding in the end, but in the end, it was a very rewarding experience. But the game, it suffers from lots of, you know, arcade games and lots of arcade ports specifically, in that this game is designed for you to pump quarters into via the arcade machine. Anybody who played this game in the arcade could theoretically win it the first time if they pumped in enough quarters, because the more quarters you pump in, the more time you get, more of an opportunity you have to beat the game. You could spend an hour's worth of time and you would never die. The game would never be over as long as you keep feeding that machine. However, when they port it to the home consoles, they give you, you know, a time limit or something, or a set amount of lives or something. They don't understand that, well, in terms of this Amiga version, you have just pumped in $50 worth of quarters. This game cost $50 in America when it was brand new. You've spent $50. Don't you think that's enough quarters? Don't you think that's enough quarters to have unlimited lives, unlimited time limits, or something? Or, you know, to change it up a little bit from the arcade version. You know, it's arcade perfect. Maybe it should not be 100% arcade perfect in some areas. That's how I truly feel about all arcade games, is they are ridiculously tough. You know, and in terms of recommending this game to others, if you have to defeat your games, well, this one's going to be a hard one to defeat. It's legitimately a extraordinarily tough game. Most people will never get this far. It's still a fun game. It's still a must-own for your Amiga, honestly, because it's even the starting levels. You know, it's fun, and of course, you know, it doesn't cost any money now, so you know, it's still worth having. But you're probably not going to win this game. It requires a lot of memorization. There's a lot of actual skill, actually, in terms of reflexes. This one requires more reflexes than it does memorization, actually, because you're actually scrolling the screen while you're doing this stuff. You have to think very fast, and while there is memorization elements, which I'm never a fan of, it is mostly about actual reflexes and skill and using that. This last section is pretty much the only true memorization part, because of these little sections that disappear and reappear. That's pretty much the only part that requires actual memorization. It took me forever to finally get to the goal here. It took me forever. And I believe you're going to hear my excitement in the background when I finally do it for the first time. Yeah, I'm not a fan of the sweeping. It sucks valuable seconds away, the goddamn sweeping animation. But there it is. There it is, guys.
First time.
And didn't even get in the goal, but apparently it registered. Now, in case anyone thinks that's not legit enough, there's a picture of me actually getting inside the goal post for my picture review on AmigaLove.com. I definitely recommend everybody check out the written review there, because they're always fun with very beautiful pictures, I might say. Feels very satisfying to have finally defeated this game. The only thing I regret not being able to show you is, well, the two-player mode, because, well, I definitely played two players quite a lot back in the day. It's one of the few games I remember, you know, diving into in terms of two-player modes. I played this with my sister all the time. I don't seem to have any memories of my dad playing this game, really, but I do remember my sister playing it alone. I remember her and I playing it together. On both the Amiga and the NES. I like this game so much, you know, I had to get it for the NES as well. Maybe someday I will show off that version as well. But this here, the Amiga version, is definitely the best. It's the best in terms of the home conversions. It's a must-own. Now, because this was a short review, I have time for a little NSlate here. It's been a long time. It's been a long time out. Before I did that little middle section where you actually see me playing around with the mouse and joystick, before I put that into this video, this was the shortest video I had done since the very first couple videos. You know, mine is Super 8 films and stuff. It was the shortest review I had done since my very first review on Discovery. That's how short this game is when you you know, you just plow through it there. I'm quite happy with the way this one turned out. I think I got a nice little message there for everybody, and that well, God, reviewers today they really do not take into any account the truth of the matters back in the day, and it needs to weigh heavily on them. Not just a little tiny footnote. It needs to weigh heavily on them when they review these games, and they don't care whatsoever. Loved that I got my shots in at those poor reviewers. But I also love that I told you a little bit about Pool of Ratings, and I'm not happy with the 2 dislikes I got on that. That was originally it was 2 likes and 2 dislikes, you know, and then eventually I got another 2 likes to get 4 likes and 2 dislikes. I mean, just because of what? Because it's long, because it's almost an hour long. What is it about that video? No, it's it's one of the best videos I've ever done. I wouldn't make a video unless I was proud of it. That's the simple truth of the matter. Every single video I've ever put on this channel I am proud of, and I believe it deserves to be on the internet. Same with this one. I believe it deserves to be on the internet. I'm attempting to be transformative in my review process. These games matter. All of these games matter. I believe the only reason to ever hit the dislike button is to say to people that are searching for this stuff, this is not going to get you what you're looking for. You know, this is, you know, misleading, or it's a clickbait or something. It's all things I have absolutely nothing to do with. You do not dislike a video because of your opinion about a certain subject if you don't agree with it or something. Everything I say is deserves to be said, and it is my legitimate opinion, and you know, screw anybody. You know, I don't care. If you're not a subscriber and you'd hit the dislike, who gives a shit? I don't care. But if you are a subscriber and you dare hit the dislike, unsubscribe, because this is not the place for you. This is not the place for you. I don't want you here. As simple as that. I'm here for my own reasons. I'm glad for the people that tag along. I'm glad because you make me want to do these things faster, to get these things out faster. I do them anyway, but you make me want to do them faster. But I'm here for my own reasons, and if you ever think about hitting the dislike button and you are a subscriber, then you might as well hit that unsubscribe button while you are at it. I hope you will check out these videos. I hope you will subscribe if you actually want to be here. And if you don't want to be here, unsubscribe. Check me out on Twitter and all of that. Goodbye, everybody. I'll see you later.